What's good, people? Uncle Hotep back at it again. How y'all doing out there? Happy Thanksgiving. I'm not going to get into a Thanksgiving video. I'm going to do another video later. I'm not going to talk about Thanksgiving. But I've seen a lot of articles being written by the leftists, the liberals, the white liberals, and the buffer Negroes. And actually, I had a good Thanksgiving. Had some turkey, some dressing, some greens, some sweet potato casserole. I've taken a liking to sweet potato casserole. She cooks it pretty good. I actually posted my plate on Twitter. So if you follow me on Twitter, please vote my plate. Some of y'all told it was trash, but it didn't taste like trash. I'll tell you that right now. But these liberals, I think I don't know what, I've seen a couple of articles with this sort of theme that, you're going to have relatives from all over come in and, some of them are going to support Trump and what to say to them and this, that, and the third. But this one has vice. You can see the article, how to tell if your alt-right relative is trying to red pill you at Thanksgiving. The proverbial racist uncle has a younger, hipper ally this year. Now, I don't know why they think that, it's Thanksgiving, football's on, I don't know why they think every Thanksgiving is going to turns into a political discussion. I've literally never had one in my life. We usually talk about how you're doing. You haven't seen some people in a while, but it seems like to me the powers that be are afraid that the Trumpers in the family will try to drop some gems on the normies. And look at Mike Pearl. We already know what Mike Pearl time is on, but let's be that as it may. As you no doubt aware, literal Nazis who call themselves the alt-right, but to be clear, they are Nazis, have carved out a niche for themselves in political discussion this year. Richard Spencer, the white supremacist who has essentially founded the alt-right, praised the election of Donald Trump in a convention speech on Saturday. But he also said Trump is not the Aryan Messiah who will bring about white supremacist fantasy he calls the new normal, but merely a step towards this new normal. So now you have Spencer saying Trump is not, this the harbinger of a new white supremacy, the new Hitler. Basically, I mean, I even hate to say it like that. I'll just use his term. He said, Trump is not the new Aryan Messiah. I mean, I could have told you that, and I think anybody else could have told you that, but the mainstream media will have you believing otherwise. So anyone spooling for a fight with the proverbial racist uncle on this unusually tense Thanksgiving. Why is everything tense? I don't know, man. Did y'all have a tense Thanksgiving? Was the stuffing tense? Was the turkey tense? Could be in for some unusually heavy artillery on the opposing side. American racism just received an injection of young blood. And your racist uncle might suddenly have an ally in that cousin of yours who always posts Breitbart articles on Facebook. And things will really take a turn if that guy decides that he wants to red pill you after you pass him the gravy. Red pill, for the blissfully unaware, is a slang term in certain alt-right adjacent internet communities like the men's rights crew. It refers to the famous Matrix scene where Neo takes the red pill and sees things as they really are. When alt-right dudes use it, they are generally mean convince other white people that we're better than others. And many of them are not shy about trying to red pill their friends and family. Now, he has a point there. You know, if you go on poll, like their definition of red pill and my definition of red pill is two different stories. I think they think red pilling is telling normies about the crime statistics in America, and those Negroes, N-words, they commit more crime, they commit more rapes. Like, I mean, that's not a red pill to me. I mean, you can look up the FBI statistics, and you can see that damn shit for yourself. You know what I'm saying? To me, you know, red pilling is, you know, the finding the truth about, you know, various events that happened in history, in American history. You know, various wars, the real reasons for these wars. You know, you can go back, you can just start with Kennedy if you want to, and you got to at least accept that Oswald didn't shoot it. You know what I mean? He wasn't the shooter. You know what I mean? That's why I'm like, you know, the order of the world isn't as it seems, you know, and I think that's a bigger red pill to send out. That's my meaning of the red pill. I'm like, yo, the order of the world isn't America and leading the world. It's almost quite the opposite. You know, our armed forces are basically are whatever the bankers want us to do, that we go in there and do it. They send the Marines in. That's a red pill, not like. So the Vice is kind of right with that. It's a new label of an old idea. Ryan Lenz, who gathers information on hate groups for the Southern here we go, the SPLC Intelligence Project, and edits their Hate Watch blog. Trump's presidential win has been a big validating moment for the alt-right. He told me once it feels validated, it seeks to take on adherents. And what place to start with those around you, your family and friends. So this Thanksgiving, you hear some ideas that sound a little right of President-elect Donald Trump. It might be red pilled your cousin trying to bring you into the fold. Here are some tactics they might use. They're even trying to, you know what I mean? They're trying to, like they know people are going to, because, you know, you might know a cousin like your whole life and, you know, or uncle, and they're saying they're voting for Trump. Now the media is telling you that Trump is the Antichrist, he's Hitler, this, that, and the third, but you've known your uncle all your life, and he's never been a bad guy. This, you know what I'm saying? So they're trying to cut this off at the pass, because you know you're going to talk to some family members that you know are good people, but since they voted for Trump, you're supposed to think they're bad people. You see what I'm saying? And both candidates suck warm-up round. Jonathan Tracy, a 33-year-old Trump supporter from Connecticut, told me he spends a lot of time reading politics on 4chan and Reddit, and that they definitely helped shape some of my views this election, though he assured me that they hadn't converted him to white supremacy. Tracy told me he knows how to find common ground with the hippie mother by trashing both candidates. My whole argument over the Thanksgiving table boils down to the fact that while Trump is a terrible person, his flaws are superficial. Tracy told me in an email. Then he'll transition into making Clinton sound like a corrupt DC business as usual. I mean, which is true. Hillary's flaws symbolize a much deeper rooted break in the system, he said. Trump kind of sucks as a candidate to be leader of the free world, but he also represents at least a chance of change. That's what I voted for. Propaganda videos. They got it broken down into sections. Last week, a Redditor named White Tide Rising put out a call out to the alt-right subreddit for strategies to red pill your family over the holidays. See, now I know why they got to they're doing this. They've been watching Reddit. They watch Reddit. They watch 4chan. You know what I mean? They know that's where these people hang out at. You know what I'm saying? I said it before. When I was like, once the brothers found out about Poll, man, it was over. You know what I mean? Like I've talked about Poll before. It's okay. You know what I mean? It's better than it's better getting your news there than like mainstream media. But is it like a true red pilling place? Not like I told y'all before, I used to go to this place, Little Bitty Forum, and that's really woke me up to the world. It's just like this is about the 9/11 days, way back then. But you know, poll is just there's a lot of shit posted in there, and a lot of they worried about the wrong things. Like I said previously. Thanks to Trump's election victory, the Post says the ice has been broken and it's time to get more bold with our families. In the Post, White Tide Rising appears to have mental block images showing his unsuspecting family, a few videos, in hope that as everyone sits down to some post-feast TV, he'll be able to bargain for a chance to show off the latest in programming. You watched your 42-minute liberal TV show, now watch this 15 video of mine, he predicts he will say. I won't link you to the content that gets tossed around in that thread or in other similar threads, but most of it is pretty intense. For instance, there's a 6-hour documentary about the life of Adolf Hitler, framing him as a misunderstood hero. They're obviously talking about the greatest story ever told. I did watch it. I thought it was interesting. And I don't think it was much about, well, I guess it was part about Hitler's life, but I mean, there's always two sides of the story, and there's always two sides to World War II. Like, if you ask me, there was no good side in World War II, to be honest. But it's kind of lengthy. Like you said, 6 hours. I think I watched. I think I listened to most of it. Like, I was working one day and I was listening. I let it play for I think it took me 3 days to get through it. I would recommend it. You know what I mean? It just gives you an alternate version of World War II. Like you get the normie view of World War II through these movies and things like that nature. But to hear another reasons why the war started, you'd be like, whoa, what was going on here? You know what I mean? It looks like the Allies, you know what I mean? They actually wanted this confrontation. But I would recommend it. But it's telling in his article that he doesn't want to link the videos they're going to show. They don't want you watching it because some of the people are going to be like, hey, man, you know what I mean? What's going on here? I mean, some people might get it, actually. You know what I mean? But he's trying to make it look bad just previous. He's trying to cut it off at the pass. Then there's a shorter video with animation in it that works as a kind of infomercial for bringing back segregation. If you never had the pleasure of going down a white supremacist propaganda YouTube rabbit hole, you might not have exposed to these videos, but they've been there for years. And their presence on YouTube gives them an air of legitimacy that maybe don't deserve. So there they go. They're going to get the stuff off of YouTube. And you know what? The thing about segregation, I say this all the time. America is already segregated. Blacks live here, whites live here, Asians live here, Hispanics live here. It's that simple. You can't tell me it's not segregated. This is every, and I don't care where you go in America. That's how it is. You know what I mean? That's how it is. You know what I mean? One group's one that lives here, one group lives there. You might have these certain neighborhoods where you have a certain different type of families on the block, but the majority of America is already segregated. The schools are mainly segregated. I don't know what you keep talking about. This is where these shit posters on poll. They're like the people that don't go outside and stay in the basement. They never leave outside in their life. You know what I mean? They don't go outside, so they don't even know. Or they live in Montana or somewhere. I don't even get this shit. But if you've been outside in America, you know America is segregated. It's that simple. Still, it'd be pretty uncomfortable trying to fit one of these in while Steeler Colts game at halftime. I mean, nobody's gonna play the greatest story ever told at Thanksgiving dinner. Let's stop advice. Shouting matches. Another Redditor named Sputumulus claims he tried to win his family over, but warns other users to prepare to find out your liberal environmentalist sibling has been more tolerant for a transgender, criminal, illegal alien than for someone with alt-right views. A reformat excerpt from the dialogue went like this. I'm worried Trump's going to take away people's rights. What rights? Whose rights? Transgenders. What? They're mentally ill. He'll take away the rights of illegal immigrants who have a baby born in the U.S. What? Laws already that should be allowed. Trump should enforce them. Sputatimbulus signs off with good luck. Please do better than I did. So it doesn't sound like the combative approach worked very well. Like, if somebody says transgender rights, you don't go, well, they're mentally ill. You dumbass. Like, you go, they have every right that anyone else has. You know what I'm saying? Maybe are they mentally ill? Maybe, but that's not the point. Even if you're mentally ill, you deserve rights in the country. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to just euthanize them or something like that. You know what I'm saying? This is where people lose the argument, because y'all just want to shit post and you have no coof. Y'all fucking clowns. You know what I mean? All you gotta do is say they deserve every right that I have. No, and no more. That's what you say. Anyway, appeals to your ethnic pride. While video and hostile argumentation don't sound like the winningest approach in the world, a sneakier way to turn you into a white supremacist might be to point out how much of a bummer immigrants are a way of attempting to make you see a gosh darn terrific white people are. Say 65 million immigrants since 1965, then point out which countries, regions these migrants come from. A redditor named Shiplibboleth. You guys gotta come up with better names. Do not say what race or what IQ they are. That is too much for the normie mind. Here's where you guys go with this IQ stuff, man. And I say it all the time, man. If IQ was so important, then why are you losing your country? You know what I'm saying? You can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, we're letting all these low IQ people. Well, if your IQ was so high and you were so smart, why'd you let it happen in the first place? I said this, like, I'm not gonna lie, man. I was telling people, like, what are y'all doing with letting all these people in here? I was like, man, I saw the writing on the wall. This was in the 90s. Here you go, you IQ folks. Oh, we got the IQs. Y'all just sat there and like, oh, man, well, they can cut our grass now, man, for cheaper. We can save some shekels. Now everybody's like, oh, what are we going to do? You should have thought that back 20, 30 years ago. Another Redditor, Auto Moderator LOL, tried to explain how to keep his strategy moving forward. Most people naturally hate undocumented immigrants, according to Auto Moderator, and the topic can be used as a springboard to transition to talk about the dangers of the Muslim religion. More broadly, Auto Moderator continues, find an area where you and your family members agree and start there, so they'll be more likely to stick with you when you're trying to get them to swallow the bigger red pills. From there, according to another Redditor named Maldici, the seeds of racism can be planted. White people, Maldici wrote, simply need to be convinced of the existence of group interests that they themselves hold as invested members of society, and diversity is contrary to their group interests. These kind of white supremacist indoctrination between the bites of a pumpkin pie may sound downright dystopian, but while it may not happen at Thanksgiving according to Lenz, Americans may start to see it more and more. This is a reality. They no longer feel they are ostracized or they're pariahs either in their family or in our culture. I mean, which might be true, but I don't think not wanting to do something about illegal immigration should make you a pariah. I know what Hollywood is trying to make it as, but it shouldn't make you a pariah. That's BS. You know what I mean? This has been discussion it should have been had earlier, like I said before, but it's an honest discussion that needs to take place. But, you know, this just shows you the fear the left is having. They're like, man, they got to do something. I think the numbers are growing too much for their beliefs. But like these people that were planning to red pill their family, like I would, if it was me, honestly, I would say, man, you know, the videos are good. You know what I mean? That part is good. But nobody's going to show that on Thanksgiving. in interest and stuff like that, man, I don't think you have to go that far. Like I said, most people are going to stay with their own. You know what I mean? You first off, you got to start having babies. That I mean, that's just simple. And you know, you gotta say, hey, man, we gotta do something about this immigration. It's hurting. If you would take it and say down the line, it's going to hurt everybody's wages. That's a better argument than arguing about IQ and our genetic interests and stuff like that, man. Because all that stuff is like you're taking it too far, man. Like y'all control that your own destiny, man. If you stop going to Planned Parenthood and you start having bigger families, that you control that by yourself. But if you tackle it from an economic standpoint, I think more people will listen, because America is about the shekels. Hello. It's about money. Dollar bill, y'all. Get rich or die trying. That's what America is about. So if you paint it in that perspective, I think you could red pill your family. Anyway, this is Uncle Hotep. Thanks for listening. Hit that subscribe button. Hey, if you donate to PayPal or Patreon, I greatly appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter, Handyman him, Uncle Hotep. And my podcast is out, episode 73. Check it out. Peace.